Hi YouTube and happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Tonight I'm going to continue in the cardiac computer, minimalist computing, paper computing, mechanical computing theme by showing you how I put together cardiac computers after printing off these pages, laminating them with my Scotch laminator and thermal laminating sheets, and then cutting them on my Silhouette Cameo as my cat observes and or interferes. Before you I have a couple of the cardiac pages, the first two pages in the main components of the kit that I've already removed from the die cutting sheets and begun to clean up and assemble. I've removed the space for the instruction decoder, instruction register, accumulator test, and accumulator here, as well as the input card, which I've inserted into the computer. I also fold it like this, and you can see those slots. They're easily accessible because I double cut this. I cut it in 2 passes. And I should also fold it in a similar way down on the bottom, further exposing those slots there. I'm not going to go through the whole process for the memory cells, but I use a screwdriver and my fingers just to remove these little gaps by each memory cell, as you can see there, to put in the program counter ladybug and or bugs. Okay, so there are the memory cells. I won't go through that in detail. I'll just show you an example here. Say for cell 57, I can begin to push this through, turn it a little bit, and voila, remove that little tiny piece of laminated paper. There you go. Do the same for 40, for 23. And that's the process for preparing the cardiac memory card, cardiac memory cell page. What's interesting is, from what I read about the original cardiac, as I probably mentioned in previous videos, that was printed on heavy cardstock, and when you received it, you also had to push out the pieces of paper. It was cut, but I guess not pressed out for you. Okay, so I'll go ahead and set that aside and go through the core of the video, which is showing how you assemble the first page of the cardiac computer, which is the arithmetic logic unit. Okay, so the third page here is looks like a mess, but isn't actually a mess. There's some plausible deniability. It has the different sliders all numbered in order that I put them into that first sheet, and also has some input-output cards there, which I'll remove first, in addition to those ladybugs, which I'll remove next. There's one input-output card. Here's another input-output card that I will remove and set aside. And a third one. These have 25 positions each, as you can probably see. But they're not the key components of the cardiac computer. Okay, so before I insert these into the cardiac, I'm going to remove part of the accumulator test there and a little bit of leftover laminating material, and then part of the instruction decoder here in card 2. Cards 3 and 4 are for sliding in addresses. Card 2 is for decoding instructions, and then card 1 is the accumulator test to see whether it is the accumulator has positive or negative contents, which determines the jump instruction. Okay, so I've removed those extra pieces there. My cat's behind the camera enjoying some laminated pages I'm not using. I'll just hold that in my hands so you can see how that looks. And now that I have everything removed here, not everything. I'll remove the ladybugs, and then after I do indeed have everything removed, I'll set this cleared out laminated page aside. Okay, so now everything should have been detached. So I can take this and set this aside and maybe toss it so my cat doesn't distract us. Oh, she likes that. The kitties love their laminated paper. Okay, so now I have everything here. And I'll go ahead and take my cardiac computer and start with slider number 1, which is the opcode test here. Put my hand under that opcode test, positive, negative, with that arrow. And I'll go ahead and stick that like this, up here, and then down here. And now you can see the accumulator is positive or negative, and that's surprisingly nicely visible there. This has been probably one of the better cardiacs I've cut. I've really optimized that process. And next I'll take slider number 2 for the instruction decoder and instruction register and accumulator test, and slide that in over the slider number 2. Okay, so I have that in there, and then under here, and then see it like that. Yep, and you can see how those will slide up and down. This goes through all 10 different instructions and tells you what to do. So it helps you decide how to execute each instruction in your brain with a pen on the input card, memory cards, and input card, memory sheet, memory cells on the memory sheet, and accumulator. Okay, so that's on number. Did I say number 3? I should have said number 2. Okay, so now we have number 3, which is the first set of addresses, and that will go under number 2 here, behind it. And so now we have everything like this. That's sliding really nicely up and down. And I'll get number 4, pick that up, and take the second address slider, insert it up here, insert it down there. Make sure these two slide up and down. And I'll remove this test input card that already has stuff on it and put in a fresh one down through this slot. Down the ocean. No, just kidding. Little Baltimore joke there. Input slider in there like that. And there we go. Now you can see how this works, that we go through what's in RAM, move the sliders so the instruction register matches whatever's in RAM, and then we go up to the instruction decoder and follow the directions there. And with our brains and our hands and our wet erase markers, we go ahead and execute the opcode that's interpreted with this instruction decoder. And that, my friends, is your laminated, printed, cut arithmetic logic unit. Okay, so now that is all set. I'll clean up all of the scrap waste there. I might fold over the memory cells here, and eventually I'll get all those little buttons out and stick the oh, that's unfortunate. Stick the ladybugs in something like that, and as you go through the program, you keep your ladybug from flipping, and you move it down from cell to cell of memory just to keep track of what you've done. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up my discussion of how you assemble the cardiac paper computer. I'll have a video tomorrow going into a lot more depth about how I set up my cutting with the Silhouette Cameo and InkCut running on that HP T510 thin client. This will be useful not just for the cardiac, but for slide rules that I plan to make in the future, as well as a ton of other things like, say, bike decals, just tying the biking theme back into the channel. Anyway, so lots more exciting stuff coming up. I think I'm trying to think what I'll cover after that. I know I'm planning to do a quick overview, a quick video about the built-in HP Palm Top calculator app, so that will be coming up soon enough. And then starting Monday through next week, a lot of cardiac programming demos, especially generative programming on the cardiac, which is super exciting. A generative program, I think, referring to self-modifying code that you can use to do things like implementing indirect addressing on a paper computer that allegedly does not have indirect addressing, at least doesn't have it by default. Okay, and with that, I hope you appreciate this video. I hope this was entertaining and educational. If you have any thoughts, questions, or suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe as always. There's a lot more where that came from. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great one.